There are three dark personalities that quietly control men, but most have no idea which one dominates their life. And that ignorance, it's why they're easily manipulated, forgotten, and discarded. The few who see their darkness for what it is, they're the ones who rise. True power is for those who stop pretending to be good and start mastering the shadow that fuels them. If you don't know which one governs your mind, your emotions, your every ambition, your fate is already sealed. Here's the real tragedy. Most men think they're strong, but in reality, they're addicted to admiration. That is the curse of the first type, the narcissist. The narcissist is a dopamine addict. Praise is his drug. Attention is his oxygen. Without it, he withers. Cut off his supply, and he goes into withdrawal. His self-worth is measured in likes, followers, and applause. He wears the finest clothes, drives the best cars, but underneath, he is nothing more than a beggar, begging for validation, attention, and admiration. His life is a constant hustle for the next hit. He craves it. He needs it. He cannot survive without it. He enters a room not to seize power or opportunities, but to calculate who notices him, who doesn't, who praises him, who ignores him. His mind races. Who is looking? Who's not? Who said something nice about me? Who avoided me? This is his theater of validation. The applause, the praise, it's his lifeblood. If he doesn't get it, he starts to crumble. He becomes desperate, even vicious, because to him, the absence of attention means death. But he doesn't know it that way. To him, it's all about confidence, charisma, and the illusion of greatness. He tells himself he's a king, born to lead, destined for something grand. He tells you that too. He'll convince you he's self-assured. But the reality is simple. He's terrified. Terrified of being invisible. Terrified of fading into the background. Underneath all the polished exteriors, the loud persona, the charming smile, is an empty vessel, hollow and fragile. A slight insult, and he spirals. A rejection, and he seeks revenge. His pride is a fragile thing, built on nothing but a house of cards, one breeze away from collapse. He's not strong, he's starving. And the more praise he gets, the more he needs it, as if it could fill the void inside him. But it never does. He's never satisfied, never full. The hunger only grows, eating away at him. You'll see him everywhere. The loudest in the room, the most polished, always seeking attention. He smiles wide, but his eyes are constantly scanning for any sign of disrespect. Praise him, and he shines. Ignore him, and he withers. Challenge him, and he breaks. The mask slips, and when it does, you see the true fragility beneath. The narcissist has no defenses. He only has illusions, and those illusions crack. He collapses into one of two extremes, rage or despair. Neither are rational, neither are controlled. He is an empire built on mirrors. When the reflection no longer flatters him, he burns everything around him trying to get it back. The narcissist doesn't care about victory. He doesn't care about success. He only craves the validation of others. And when he doesn't get it, he dies inside. He dies from the inside out. He's an addict, starving for approval, constantly seeking more. He doesn't want to be great. He wants to be seen as great. That's all. And when that recognition fades, when the crowd turns away, when the applause stops, he falls apart. This is why many men fail in silence, not because they lack ability, but because their egos are too fragile to withstand the harshness of reality. One failure, and they vanish. One rejection, and they retreat into fantasy. They were never warriors. They were children trapped in adult bodies, craving applause instead of conquest. They live for the approval of others, and when they don't get it, they retreat. They fade away. But don't mistake the narcissist's fragility for weakness. He can rise again. And often, he does. He knows how to wear the perfect face, how to play the part. He adapts to what others want to see. He becomes what they admire. In politics, in entertainment, in leadership, narcissists rise faster than anyone else. Why? Because they need to. They don't hesitate. While others debate, the narcissist seduces. While others wait, he poses. He mirrors the public's desires, becoming what they crave, and the crowd gives him the crown. But this is the cruel paradox. What lifts him is what will ultimately destroy him. Once the admiration fades, once the praise stops, he self-destructs. Think of the celebrities who've fallen apart when the spotlight dimmed. The leaders who couldn't handle criticism. The creators who vanished when no one cared to praise them. It wasn't failure that destroyed them. It was their addiction to being seen as perfect. The narcissist cannot stand imperfection. He can't handle being anything less than adored. And this is where it becomes dangerous, not just for him, but for everyone around him. Because when the narcissist starts to lose admiration, he doesn't go quietly. He manipulates, he guilt trips, he lies, he rewrites history, demonizing anyone who stops feeding him praise. In relationships, he becomes controlling. In business, he becomes vindictive. He cannot allow you to move on because your attention is his lifeline. Without it, he withers. He will shame you, charm you, or destroy you. Anything to keep himself at the center of your world. If he can't be the hero, he'll be the victim. Or worse, the villain. Not out of strategy, but out of desperation. This is not power. This is dependency disguised as dominance. And once you see it, you'll notice it everywhere. The loudest in the room, the most polished, the ones who always need to be special, they're not free. They're addicts. They're dying for applause. And here's the final cruelty. Most men ruled by this addiction never realize it until it's too late. They think they're chasing greatness, but they're really just chasing compliments. They think they're leaders, but they're addicts. And as they build a false self for the world to admire, their real selves rot inside, unseen, unloved, forgotten. All because they spent their lives trying to be someone else's ideal. They never stopped to ask, "Who am I?" This question haunts them, and when they finally slow down long enough to face it, it breaks them. The truth is, the narcissist doesn't want power. He wants to look powerful, and in the end, that illusion becomes his prison. But here's where it gets dangerous. Some narcissists evolve. They learn to weaponize their charm. They study attention like a military strategist. They seduce not just to be loved, but to control. And when that shift happens, the narcissist becomes more than fragile. He becomes calculating, strategic, a charming manipulator who wears vulnerability like armor. He's no longer begging for validation. He's using it to gain leverage. This evolution unfolds in layers. At first, the raw narcissist is impulsive, reacting wildly to any dip in praise, like a junkie in withdrawal. But as he matures, he learns restraint. He channels his hunger into observation, studying how people respond to his charisma. He experiments with vulnerability, sharing just enough flaws to seem relatable, drawing victims closer. Over time, this builds into a multi-layered trap. Surface charm lures you in, selective truths build trust, and hidden calculations extract loyalty. He refines his mask, turning desperation into a weapon, evolving from a chaotic performer into a subtle controller who anticipates your every emotional need. Compliments are no longer food to him. They are currency. He trades them for loyalty, for obedience, for worship. And in this new form, the narcissist becomes more dangerous, not just to himself, but to anyone who mistakes his mask for substance. Because once you believe in his illusion, he owns you. And when he owns you, he feeds. Slowly, methodically. Behind every soft smile and gentle voice, he's extracting something from you. Admiration, sympathy, envy, submission, without lifting a single weapon. His real weapon is you. He plays the victim, but only to gain your trust. He will share his pain, but only in a way that centers him as the tragic hero. He will admit his flaws, but only the ones that make him seem brave for overcoming them. He gives just enough truth to seem authentic, just enough vulnerability to seem safe, just enough charm to seem magnetic. And when you lower your guard, when you trust him, when you admire him, you're trapped. You start questioning yourself. You start feeling inferior around him, but you can't explain why. You become addicted to his approval and terrified of his silence. And that's exactly where he wants you. Uncertain, impressed, submissive. But if you ever wake up to what he truly is, the spell breaks, but most never do. They stay locked in his orbit, spinning endlessly around a sun that only shines for itself. They confuse confidence with superiority. They confuse storytelling with honesty. They confuse emotional expression with emotional depth, and they pay the price in silence, wondering why they always feel unseen, unheard, unworthy. The narcissist doesn't build connections. He builds mirrors, and you are only valuable to him as long as you reflect what he wants to see. The moment you show him a reflection he doesn't like, your independence, your anger, your strength, he punishes you. He'll distance himself. He'll act cruel. He'll withdraw without explanation. And when he does, he'll frame it as your fault. Because he is the master of blame. You can't argue with him. He's rehearsed every response. You can't accuse him. He'll turn it around on you. You can't shame him, because he'll use your accusation as proof that you're the problem. And if you try to leave, he'll become everything you once loved again, just long enough to pull you back in. He doesn't want you. He wants your admiration. He doesn't love you. He loves how you make him feel about himself. And when he no longer needs you, when your approval has faded, he will discard you. Gently, poetically, but discard you all the same. Because the narcissist is not here to build with you. He's here to build himself. You are just another brick in his image. And when you finally walk away, something in you will ache. Because the narcissist is an expert in imprinting himself on your mind. And even when you see through him, even when you understand the manipulation, even when you finally leave, the ache lingers. He won. The narcissist is a man who craves validation, feeding on the constant attention of others. He is a drug addict, addicted to the dopamine rush of praise and approval. But eventually, the high wears off. One day, he realizes the applause is no longer enough. The mirror he's built to reflect his own perfection no longer flatters him. And that is when the shift begins. When the narcissist transforms into the Machiavellian, he doesn't lose his hunger for control. He sharpens it. No longer consumed by the need to be seen, he now seeks something far more potent: leverage. Where the narcissist was loud and obvious, the Machiavellian is silent, calculating, and precise. His motives are hidden behind a mask of calm detachment, not because he's playing a role, but because he's dissecting the world around him like a surgeon. His mind is a cold operating table, and every person, every situation, is a body to be dissected for useful parts. No more superficial gestures, no more posing. The Machiavellian doesn't care about being adored. He cares about winning, but not in the traditional sense. He doesn't chase after victory in front of a crowd. He is focused on controlling the game from behind the scenes. He is the one pulling the strings, making his moves when it's advantageous, when it shifts the balance in his favor. This shift happens gradually. The narcissist, desperate for attention, becomes a man who no longer seeks admiration but seeks position. He studies people as if they were blueprints. Every gesture, every word, every moment carefully analyzed for leverage. He doesn't speak unless it advances his cause. Words are not tools of connection, they are tools of power. In the world of the Machiavellian, emotions are liabilities. They are weaknesses to be avoided, cleansed like an infection. He doesn't engage in unnecessary emotional exchanges because they distort the pure efficiency of his strategies. Loyalty, negotiable, kindness, camouflage, truth, a weapon. He doesn't tell you the truth unless it serves him to do so. When it does, he reveals just enough to disarm you, to make you think you've connected, when in reality, you're the one being analyzed. His silence is not a sign of politeness. It is a deliberate, methodical gathering of data. He observes, waits, and measures you, understanding exactly what makes you tick. When he speaks, it's never in reaction. It's always calculated, a move designed to shift the power in his favor. He doesn't raise his voice in anger. He doesn't need to. He is too detached to feel the need for emotional expression. Nothing matters enough for him to lose control. Betrayal? He's already prepared for it. Failure? Already accounted for. Disloyalty? Already predicted. This is the core of the Machiavellian. He is playing a long game, quiet, subtle, and without audience. He does not announce his goals because his strategy does not rely on visibility. Visibility is vulnerability. The Machiavellian operates in the shadows, not because he is hiding, but because that is where the real power lies. He knows that the man who is unseen is the one who survives. You'll feel his presence before you realize he's been studying you all along. His calmness is disarming. He can charm, he can laugh, he can joke, but there's something missing. He never gives anything of himself. His compliments are devoid of admiration. His anger is void of weakness, and his stories never reveal the true motives behind his actions. You'll leave the conversation thinking you've connected, but in reality, he has learned everything he needs to know about you while offering nothing in return. The Machiavellian isn't concerned with friends. He's concerned with alliances. He doesn't betray. He cuts away what doesn't serve him. He eliminates excess, people, emotions, loyalty, whatever weakens his position. His mind is a machine, moving pieces around with precise control. He is not cruel. He is efficient. If hurting you advances his cause, he will do so with elegance. If helping you gains his loyalty, he will do it with sincerity. But you will never know which version of him you're facing, because he's not on a side. He's playing above the board entirely. The Machiavellian's advantage lies in his ability to remain hidden. He lets others scramble for power, letting them expose their vulnerabilities while he quietly gathers data. He doesn't fight for control. He manipulates the structure itself. He finds the weakest link and applies pressure. He doesn't need a throne to rule. He only needs the man on the throne to owe him a favor. He doesn't scream to be feared. He doesn't need to. He simply knows what you want, and that gives him control over your decisions. Think of the shadowy advisor in corporate boardrooms, whispering strategies that topple competitors without ever raising a voice. Or the political operative who engineers alliances through quiet favors, debts that bind leaders like invisible chains. In tech startups, he's the co-founder who maps out partnerships not for friendship, but for leverage, turning rivals into unwitting pawns. These examples show his efficiency. No wasted moves, just calculated gains that build empires from the background. But even the Machiavellian is not invincible. His arrogance can be his downfall. Believing himself to be the smartest man in the room, he risks underestimating others. He becomes so consumed with his own strategy that he forgets the essential truth of his power. Control must remain hidden. Once exposed, once others see his plan, it becomes a target. The game he's played so quietly becomes an open battlefield. His power, once invisible, is now something that others can contest. The Machiavellian may understand this, but still, there is a subtle arrogance in his belief that he can control everything. Once he starts to trust in the infallibility of his mind, once he starts to believe that his traps are unbreakable, that is when he slips. Because the greatest power is always the power you hide. To truly win, the Machiavellian must remain untouchable. He must never reveal his hand, never let others see his true intentions. But in his detachment, in his isolation, the empire he's built begins to rot from the inside. His obsession with control, with perfect strategy, leaves him disconnected from the world around him. He doesn't need to convince you to submit. He simply needs to create a world where submission feels natural, where resistance is exhausting. And when you realize that you've been played, it's already too late. You're too deep in the web to escape. This isn't about petty manipulation. The Machiavellian doesn't waste time on emotional games. His vision is larger than that. He wants more than attention. He wants an empire. He doesn't need to fight for power. He acquires it indirectly, through debts, secrets, and silence. While others are focused on the throne, he's focused on controlling the man who sits on it. He doesn't need the crown. He just needs the king to owe him. And that is the genius of the Machiavellian. He doesn't need anyone to know him. He doesn't need friendship, affection, or even loyalty. What he needs is control. He doesn't care if you love him, if you fear him. He only cares that you obey him. And he has perfected the art of making obedience feel like a choice. You'll think you trusted him because you wanted to, but in reality, it was never your decision. And when the Machiavellian has enough power, he doesn't have to fight. He doesn't need to act, because he has already positioned himself above everyone else. He doesn't need to intimidate. He just needs you to make the next move for him. This is the true nature of power, and the real danger of the Machiavellian. He doesn't play to win, he plays to rule. And once he does, the game ends. Not with a victory, but with complete control. Now ask yourself, are you becoming him? Have you begun to see people as tools instead of individuals? Do you measure every word, every gesture, every move to gain leverage? Do you enjoy the calm detachment you feel when chaos surrounds you? If you are, be careful. Because once you start playing this game, there's no going back. Once you embrace the efficiency of the Machiavellian mindset, you will never again be able to feel the warmth of genuine connection. And that emptiness is where the true darkness lies. The transition from the Machiavellian to the psychopath is not sudden, nor is it overt. It's subtle. It's like the change from a well-calculated chess game to the collision of a tank with its brakes cut. The Machiavellian, driven by strategy and calculation, eventually becomes weary of the constraints of his calculated moves. He grows detached, no longer satisfied with mere control. He no longer values the delicate intricacies of the game. He is now driven by pure instinct, the primal need to dominate, the raw hunger for power without restriction. The tank no longer follows a road. It moves forward, crashing through anything in its path, unstoppable, unfeeling, and without hesitation. This evolution builds in layers of fatigue and detachment. The Machiavellian starts with precise plans, but over time, the endless plotting erodes his patience. He tires of waiting for the perfect trap, resents the mental chess that demands constant vigilance. As isolation deepens, he sheds the last remnants of strategy, embracing impulse as liberation. What begins as subtle shortcuts skipping calculations for bold risks, escalates into full detachment, where actions become reflexive, driven by raw will rather than thought. He crosses from the surgeon's scalpel to the wrecking ball, no longer dissecting but demolishing. The psychopath doesn't plan, he acts. He doesn't calculate risks like the Machiavellian. He charges forward without fear. His dominance is not shaped by intellect, but by a raw, animalistic force. He is the alpha wolf in a pack. His decisions are not made through strategy, but through impulse, pure will. And it is this impulse, this absence of fear, that makes him terrifying. While others freeze in the face of chaos, the psychopath strides straight through it, as if it were nothing more than a casual stroll in a park. The world around him may be burning, but he's not even aware of the flames. They don't matter. Only his objective matters. He doesn't fear consequences because to him, they don't exist. He doesn't feel regret, hesitation, or guilt. He is untethered by anything that would hold others back. This is where the true terror lies, in the absence of fear. Fear is what makes others hesitate. It is what forces people to evaluate the cost of their actions. The narcissist fears rejection, the Machiavellian fears exposure, but the psychopath? He fears nothing. And in that fearlessness, he becomes a force of nature, a force that has no boundaries. His actions are not limited by morals, by ethics, by laws. To him, everything is a tool to achieve his end. There are no rules. There are only outcomes. The past is irrelevant, the future is uncertain, but the present moment? That is where he moves, and in that movement, everything else collapses. While the narcissist crumbles when ignored, and the Machiavellian waits for the perfect opportunity, the psychopath creates the opportunity. He doesn't need the game to be structured. He doesn't need the rules to remain in place. He doesn't wait for the world to align. He bends it to his will. He thrives in the chaos. While others flinch in the face of unpredictability, the psychopath becomes the chaos. And in that chaos, he rises. Because to him, unpredictability is not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. The core difference between the Machiavellian and the psychopath is not strategy, but presence. The Machiavellian plays the game, shifting pieces around with cold precision, while the psychopath crushes the board itself, unstoppable, without even a second thought. He doesn't see the game in terms of moves and counter-moves. He sees it as a tool for destruction, a tool for domination. To him, everything is expendable. People are expendable. Consequences are expendable. The only thing that matters is his next move. Unlike the Machiavellian, who hides his intentions behind silence, the psychopath's silence is not strategic. It's pure detachment. He doesn't speak because he has nothing to say. He watches, observes, and waits, not for the perfect moment, but for the moment where he can strike, where he can break everything and rebuild it to his liking. He doesn't fear the damage. He is the damage. His presence is a force that disorients, that unsettles, that causes others to collapse under pressure because they cannot predict him. And that is the key. The psychopath thrives on unpredictability. He doesn't just bend the rules. He breaks them. He crosses lines because they are there to be crossed. And when he does, others are left breathless in the wake of his actions, unable to understand what just happened. By the time they process the reality of the situation, it's already too late. He has moved on, leaving nothing behind but the aftermath of his presence. This is not recklessness. It's freedom. True freedom. The kind that comes when a man stops caring about the consequences, stops worrying about the outcome, stops thinking about morality or guilt or judgment. He becomes limitless in his actions. And it is this limitless nature that makes him so dangerous. Because while others still have limits, whether imposed by ethics, fear, or self-restraint, the psychopath has none. He doesn't care about the cost of his actions, because he has already removed the weight of fear from his life. He doesn't even see it as a choice. It's just the way he exists. The absence of fear has become his superpower. The pressure he creates on those around him is immense. It's not physical force, though that can come later, but psychological pressure that leaves others gasping for air. The way he moves through a room, the way he controls the space with just his presence, is enough to break weaker minds. His cold, calculating demeanor makes people second-guess themselves, and that uncertainty becomes his weapon. He doesn't need to strike. His very existence is a strike. Think of the ruthless CEO who dismantles companies without a blink, firing thousands to boost profits, or the warlord who seizes territory through sheer, unpredictable force, leaving survivors in awe and terror. In organized crime, he's the boss who eliminates rivals not through plans, but instant, instinctive strikes that shatter alliances. These examples reveal his edge. No hesitation, just raw dominance that turns chaos into opportunity. But the true cost of the psychopath's existence is not visible to others. It's hidden beneath the surface. The fact that he can break people, make them bend to his will, doesn't make him a conqueror. It makes him a creature of isolation. He wins, yes, but he wins alone. The moment he steps into power, he finds that no one can truly trust him. No one loves him. No one stays. The king sits on a throne of ashes, and no one mourns him when he's gone. This is the tragedy of the psychopath. He has everything, but nothing that matters. Power, control, influence, he has it all. But the price is his humanity. And the worst part? He doesn't even know what he's missing. He doesn't know what it means to feel love, to feel belonging, to feel peace. He's disconnected from it all, trapped in his own pursuit of domination. The void inside him is endless, and no amount of power will ever fill it. He can conquer the world, but he can never conquer himself. Even when he succeeds, the victory rings hollow. He may win wars, build empires, create vast networks of influence, but he does it all alone. There is no one to share it with, no one to trust, no one to turn to when the weight of his own emptiness becomes too much to bear. He may break every enemy, but he will never feel peace, because peace requires attachment, and he has killed everything inside himself that could attach to anything or anyone. And when the inevitable collapse happens, it doesn't come with a bang. It comes with a silence, a profound, suffocating silence. The psychopath doesn't spiral into emotional chaos like the narcissist, or recalibrate like the Machiavellian. He simply stops functioning. He ceases to exist in the way others do. Because when domination fails, he has no identity left. He has no purpose. He is nothing but a void, a blank space where a man once stood. The true horror of the psychopath is not his actions. It is the cold, unrelenting nature of his existence. He is a force of destruction, and in that destruction, he is reborn. He moves forward, not because he has anything to gain, but because it is the only way he knows how to move. The tank with no brakes, the wolf leading the pack, he charges forward, crushing everything in his path, and in the end, he is left alone, with only the silence of his own soul for company. So ask yourself, are you becoming him? Have you crossed the line from control to domination? Have you moved beyond strategy to become the force that breaks everything in its path? Because once you embrace that path, there is no turning back. The psychopath doesn't need to win. He doesn't need love. He doesn't need anything. All he needs is to be the one who moves, who dominates, who destroys. And once you understand that, you realize just how far you've gone. The only path to true power lies in brutal honesty. When you finally confront the dark instinct that controls you, you don't weaken. You become aware, and awareness is the first step to mastery. Don't deny the darkness. Chain it down. Your mind is a cage, and your instincts are the beasts within. Don't let the narcissist take the wheel. Don't let the Machiavellian doctor your isolation. Don't let the psychopath run wild. You must be the one holding the whip, the reins. You must be the one in control. Awaken. Take charge of your shadow, or it will devour you. This is your power. This is your strength. If you're ready to dominate your darkness, comment below. I hold the leash. Let's see how many are truly prepared to master their instincts. Like this video, subscribe to Gaka Mindset, and remember, the strongest are those who command their own shadows.